We have new information about a real-life treasure hunt that hooked people all over the world. And if you were still hoping to find this treasure, it's not really good news for you. Here's the backstory. 10 years ago, a New Mexico art dealer named Forrest Fenn created a poem with clues to the location of a hidden treasure. His challenge created a frenzied hunt for the chest containing, well, here's why it's frenzied, more than $1 million worth of valuables, a lot of money there. Fenn announced 6 months ago that the treasure had been found. Here's the news. Now we know who found it. Janet Shamlian reports.
With the clue into the mountains north of Santa Fe, it's believed tens of thousands have searched the Rockies for Forrest Fenn's treasure chest, filled with millions in gold and precious jewels. Several lost their lives doing so. In June, Fenn said it had finally been discovered, but that the finder wanted to remain anonymous. A secret Fenn took to his grave when he died in September at the age of 90. Now the mystery is over, after the finder initially posted anonymously about his discovery.
How are you able to find out who he was?
I figured out a way to flag a typo inside the story, which allows you to get a little bit of information to send to the author of the post.
He's 32-year-old Michigan medical student Jack Stoof, who revealed himself to author and fellow treasure hunter Daniel Barbarisi, who's writing a book about the hunt, Chasing the Thrill.
We had a good relationship for a few months in that way of going back and forth about all this stuff about the treasure until out of the blue one day he just said, hey, I think it's going to come out. You want to know who I am? And I said, all right, let's talk.
Why Stoof revealed himself a lot less epic than the adventure that led him to the treasure. Fearing a lawsuit would eventually name him, he came forward. In the suit, an Illinois woman claims Stoof found the treasure by hacking her computer and emails. She believed Fenn's chest was in New Mexico. Stoof told Barbarisi he found it in Wyoming after a 2-year search and says he's never met the woman. In a statement to CBS News, Fenn's family says, "We can confirm that Jack is the legitimate finder of the chest that my granddad hid, and we wish him the best." For Stoof, the allure wasn't the value, but the chance, he says, to live out a teenage fantasy of treasure hunting.
That is wanting to be the one who cracks that code.
The code Stoof says he cracked was written by Fenn in 2010 when he released a self-published memoir, The Thrill of the Chase, which included a poem with clues to the treasure's location. CBS Sunday Morning's Barry Peterson spoke to Fenn about the hunt in 2015.
Well, I made it hard deliberately. If it was easy, anyone could do it.
Barbarisi says Stoof won't reveal exactly where in Wyoming he found the treasure.
Even with the best of intentions, people tramping in and out of there is going to ruin the pristine nature of that place. Who has a treasure hunt in 2020? It's an anachronism. It's a fantasy. It shouldn't exist.
The woman filing the lawsuit, in a statement to CBS News, calls the statement by the Fenn family more nonsense and continues to question the legitimacy of the discovery. On a separate note, I have covered Forrest Fenn and this story and have met with him at his home at least a half a dozen times over the past several years. And I was among those who questioned whether he even hid the treasure in the first place, especially this summer when he announced there was an anonymous finder just 2 months before he passed away. But now we know Jack Stoof is the finder, and Stoof says he has student loans to pay off, and he will auction off that treasure. Anthony?
Wow. Get a lot of money for it.
Yeah,
Janet,
didn't you do it too? Didn't you do something with Fenn?
So I was the first person to do a big old long article back in 2012, and then I went on TV on CNN. Brooke Baldwin, thanks for having me on. Appreciate that. And then it really exploded from there.
You had doubts too, though, Tony.
Well, no, I always thought that the chest was real, and I think my article helped lend credibility to, like, Forrest is an unusual guy, and only a very unusual guy would bury a bunch of treasure and say, you know,
so you always thought there was money there?
Always thought it was real, but until now, I doubted that it had really been found, because Forrest wanted immortality. He was thinking in millennia terms, and
I knew you had a doubt about something. I couldn't remember what
timing
it was.
surprised me.
Yeah.